What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 14 of Park to Prem here with Lincoln City. Today we've got the final game of the league season, and then of course we're going to do our end of season roundup, talk about the plans for next season, take a look at how the other leagues across England are looking as well, because it's always interesting to see what's going on, especially of course with this save game where maybe not next season, maybe not the season after, but at some point eventually we're likely to leave Lincoln City, so it's nice to know what's going on elsewhere. Now, you'll notice here we've got a lovely big C next to our name. We've won the league. We're champions, everyone. In the end, we did it very handily, although we kind of knew that was the case already. I'll leave you now to enjoy the trophy hoisting celebrations. And, well, since winning the league, I have chosen just to rotate the team a little bit, play, a few players who perhaps didn't get as many minutes as I wanted throughout this year. You can see, in fact, Cooper started the last game, as did Yolo, elsewhere, Badrami, and Cons I gave games to as well. Just a bit of rotation, as well as Williams in goal, making his senior debut. Of course, the backup goalkeeper this year, played a couple of games in this kind of end of season run. He's not done particularly well, but look, we've won the league. We're allowed to party. We're allowed to take our eye off the ball. Whilst I'm not going to show any of the highlights because it kind of feels a bit silly to do so and a bit of a waste of time, here is how things have gone since you were last here. Of course, we ended things with a draw against MK Dons, and since then we beat Oldham 5-1. We then wrapped up the title away from home against Morecambe with a 1-1 draw. Ben Cabango getting another goal to add to his name. So excited for this guy and what he can bring. I think he is almost the benchmark in terms of the quality of player I'm going to be scouring for coming into next season. He's been top draw since he joined us. He was good in this game here. And then, well, we went and rotated things a lot. Against Bolton, we drew 1-1. Leighton Orient, we lost 3-1. Most recently against Gillingham, a 4-1 win. Paul Glatzel and Mark Cooper scored in the same game. Impossible is nothing, everyone. Impossible things can happen, and for those two players to score in the same game, I mean, maybe 2021's a special year. Either way, we've got Cambridge today away from home in terms of team selection. We're just going to play the full-strength team, I think, for this final game of the season. I've been nice to a few of the other sides. Cambridge, do they have anything to play for? I feel like they probably don't. I was looking at the league table, and yeah, they're down in mid-table. We could beat them, but that might take Boston ahead of them. I'm conflicted now. Should I just throw? No, let's not do that. You can see here, looking at the goal scorers, Ellis, in the end, ended up with 19 goals. So fantastic work for Sims, kind of making his first ever season of regular first-team football. Fitzpatrick and Quansah leading the average ratings going into the final game of the season. Control leading the assists. Player of the match is Fitzpatrick doing well. I feel a bit bad for Cumming in goal because I've dropped him for Desire Williams, which has probably lost him any hope of getting a clean sheet and kind of the Golden Glove award, I suppose, for the league. But nevertheless, it's great to see a whole host of our players featuring across, the top league stats. But anyway, before we do the end of season wrap up, one last time to enjoy our team here. Taylor Richards, you got injured in training. Forgot about that. YOLO, there's a spot for you on the bench, my friend. And a chance for us to maybe enjoy ourselves a little this final game of the league season. I talked about it, a few episodes ago now, but League One is a bit of a step up. And whilst I'm hoping we're going to be pushing for the playoffs next year, I feel like we're not far away from having the quality to certainly state a claim, I suppose, for promotion. It's going to be a harder season than this season's been. So maybe a chance here for us to make Cambridge our whipping boys. And also, it would be immense to hit the 100-point mark for the season. That would be a new club record if we could do it. So whilst you could argue there's nothing to play for, I want 100 points. I want to get a century, and I want to set a new club record. Unfortunately, the League 1 record, or League 2 record, of 102 points, slightly beyond our reach, and while even the club record might be in danger here, because in a game where I was hoping it would be a bit of an exhibition, a chance for us to flex our muscles, show our strength, we're a goal down inside the first 10 minutes. I mean, look, we're allowed to party, everyone. The season's over. We are the champions comfortably. I can't blame the players for going out on the sesh and maybe taking their eye off the ball a little when it comes to the matches. But anyway, I feel like we can use this game just to kind of talk about the squad as a whole. And to be honest, defensively, I'm pretty happy. I think if you were going to identify anywhere across kind of the back line and the goalkeeping position that needs improvement, it probably would be Quansah. But I'm almost willing to give him a chance to step up. Of course, he's been a player we've brought along with us for the ride. He's been such an ever-present part of all of my teams, really. And, well, speaking of the devil, there he is trying to get on a near-post header. But besides him, I think the likes of Cabango, Lopez at left-back, the Spaniard with his sandcastles, Hughes at right-back has kind of been a bit of an unsung hero. They've all been absolutely superb in coming in goal. You know what? He's not going to get the Golden Glove award. He's maybe not made as many saves in this game as I would like him to, given the fact he's not made any yet, but he's been very, very consistent. Of course, across the attacking midfielder positions, we've done well as well. Cottrell leading the way with assists. Fitzpatrick with one of the best average ratings as well. I think the most logical place to look to improve, to be honest, is centre mid, where this year we've had obviously Carter come in and play pretty well. Again, maybe a bit of Callum Green. Sorry, show him some respect. That is an insane goal, Callum Green. Did not expect that from him. But no, Carter and Finney have done well. Finney's just signed a year extension because his contract was due to expire at the end of the year. Carter, of course, was the guy who we brought in from Hull City, had played a little bit of championship football the last couple of years, but had fallen down the pecking order. He's looked very good. But I do feel like there's maybe a little bit of room for improvement in the centre-mid department. Anyway, I'm going to tell the players I'm far from pleased. I was hoping this was going to be a nice exhibition win, whilst I talk a little bit about the squad. But we're not allowed to have nice things. We're not allowed to enjoy football, everyone. And well, we might need to do some defending here. Helm with the ball to Nibs. Now with Edwards. Lopez lumps it away. Sims flicks it on. Is he going to be able to get onto his own flick on? No. It's very slow here. Everyone's not really putting in any effort. It's almost as if it's two teams that have very little to play for meeting one another. Anyway, they've got a guy here who has an incredible name. Farku Harson, was it? Farku Harson. That is a great name. Definitely not saying it correctly, but it looks aesthetically pleasing written down. Anyway, now we're gone. Let's make some changes here. We'll bring in Paul Glatzel, I think, for Cottrell out on the right-hand side. Carter's been a bit of a naughty boy. Let's bring in Tom White. A bit of sad news, really. Tom White, dependable player, good player for us this year. Played a lot of games without Nate maybe having the best average rating. He wants to be an important player still. I'm not going to give him that. So this might be his last ever game for us. I would love him to change his mind and accept the fact he is probably a fringe player. But if we're bringing in centre mids anyway, maybe he's not the worst player to be departing. But he's been a loyal servant. We're doing it on good terms, everyone. Let's give him some minutes here to see what he can do. Anyway, they've got Buomano. And some of these names are bloody brilliant. Nibs. Shoots. Cummings with a double save. Thank you very much for coming and saving the day. That was great goalkeeping by him. Maybe we should adopt Cambridge's transfer policy of just signing players with cool names. I mean, I kind of do that anyway when I can, but they've taken it to a whole new level. Anyway, set piece after set piece. I feel like with Quansah and Cabango, we should be pretty good at defending these, and well, that header away is just what the doctor ordered. Unfortunately, we're going straight into another highlight. I say unfortunately. Could be a highlight in our favour, everyone. Ellis Sims to Hughes at right back. The number 2, the United reject. Can he get into the box? No, but Finney might. Edge of the box. Green has 1 goal already. Callum Green has 2 goals. And I'll tell you what, he might not have improved much this year. He might, not quite be the long-term player I dreamed he might be. Callum Green is bloody brilliant. Although I have just noticed it's Callum with 1 L. That's not the correct spelling of Callum. I know someone's now going to tell me that's the old Scottish way of saying it, Jack. You're being prejudiced to Scots. I'm sorry. It's spelled double L. Callum with double L. You can't... It's wrong. Incorrect. Do not pass go. Do not collect £200. Right, can we do some defending now? We've got the lead, having come back from behind, but they're on the attack. Away, Quansah to Sims. Glatzel now with it. I mean, could Sims get the golden boot still? I know he was in second. I think he was a few goals behind. Fitzpatrick out on the left-hand side. He needs just one more good game to help his average rating and top the charts. Lopez now with it. Inside to Finney. What can he do? Back to White. Green hits it. Wants the hat-trick. Falls to Fitzpatrick. Cairns makes the stop. I mean, we look quite attacking here. Considering all the 1-0s that we've had as of late... It's not. I thought I was about to celebrate Green getting a hat-trick. It's been disallowed, Green. You were offside. But yeah, we've had a lot of 1-0s, it feels like, as of late in live comms. It's nice to have a game here where at least the goals are flowing. Unfortunately, as is the linesman's flag. But you know what? 20 minutes left. I've not even shouted at them. Demand get shouty. Always. The stats suggest that we probably should have scored maybe 1 or 2 more. But ultimately, we have been the team in control. 60% of possession. We've come back from behind. I'm saying all of this like the job's done. It could be in a second. Ball whipped in. Sims is under it. Headed away. Maybe, just maybe, Cambridge are about to poop on my party. Stop it. Hughes, huge tackle, goes to Sims. Fitzpatrick to his left. Or will he go alone? Will he go alone? No, he's gone back. He's more sensible than me. I was getting excited. I thought he was going to dribble past everyone and smash it over from 30 yards. You know, the typical Football Manager highlight. Might have a chance here, though. Sims tucks it away. It's offside again. Linesman! Why are you flagging everything, mate? It probably was offside. I mean, officials can make mistakes in Football Manager. I think that the line's not drawn in the right place there. I think the right back's trailing leg has played him on. But who am I to argue with... I was about to say VAR. We don't have VAR in League 2. What I do know we have is a promotion. Good win in the end, just about. Not a bad way to end the year on a high. The players doing a lap of honour at Cambridge. Of course, it was a bit unfortunate that we won the title away from home, to be honest. I would have quite liked to have won it at home, but we had green confetti fall down. You might have noticed that. That upset me. Why have the confetti for us winning the league in the away kit colours? Makes no sense. Anyway, just looking at Callum Green here, I've talked about how he's not improving. He's improving a little bit everywhere. Like, he's a pretty good player, but I don't know. He's not... If we just look at his development, obviously he joined us a little while ago now from Boston, has been here a year. Looking at all-time development, it's just... I think he's probably at his peak already, which is fine. He's a great player, but he looks like he could be so much better. But unfortunately, that's not how Football Manager works. But anyway, that wraps up this season, which should mean, I think, after one more continue, we get the end of season awards. Do we? Football Manager, is that how this works? I'm just going to keep hitting continue and hope it appears. End of season awards? Anyone? Anyone? Here we are. See, I know how Football Manager works. I do really like this new feature, although I wish when you clicked on players and such and hit back, it didn't go back to the beginning. Either way, the new arrivals. We made a few additions this year. At the start of the season, I said I wasn't going to sign too many players. Looking at those players that joined us, I think the standout performers were Fitzpatrick, Cabango, Sims, and I think you could throw Cottrell in there as well. They've all done very well. They've all chipped in their own way. Fitzpatrick and Ben Cottrell getting 16 assists between them. Fitzpatrick with 16 goals from midfield as well is absolutely superb. He has not got nearly enough credit for what he's done there out on the left-hand side, cutting in on his right foot. Of course, was naturally a right winger. It's kind of something new that we brought to his game this year. Not dissimilar with Cottrell either. Naturally a centre attacking mid, playing him out on the right this year, cutting in on his left foot. He has looked very, very solid. And Sims has come in and done the business, really. We needed a striker. We needed a goal scorer. Started the season as kind of second in command, I suppose. He was coming on off the bench, but he impressed me. And after 10 sub-appearances, I went, maybe he could start for us regularly. He went on to get 24 goals this season, which is superb. Cabango as well, obviously. A huge sum of money paid, but we definitely got our money's worth out of him. And also, Charlie Carter, the box-to-box midfielder I was talking about before. A really, really good player, this guy. Signed, of course, from Hull City on a freebie. You can see just so well suited to the box-to-box midfielder role, so well-rounded. A player who I am very, very confident is going to be able to make the step up with us. Of course, we took punts on a few youngsters as well who did okay. Lopez and Hughes, sadly victims of the average rating update, which really seems to have harmed fullbacks. But make no mistake, they did very well defensively as well. And to be honest, across the board with all our signings, I don't feel like there was really a flop. There wasn't really a play massively disappointed me and I was expecting a lot more out of. You know, there was some youngsters kept brought in. They did the youngster things of kind of just ticking over, coming into the squad where needed. The star players that we brought in with high hopes all kind of performed, and that obviously shows in the league table finish, where we have, of course, ended up on 100 points. We started the season well, but after a bit of a wobble, you had questions over us, but no, we held our nerve, we held our form, and even at the end of the year where maybe we gave up a little bit because we knew the title was done, we looked largely convincing in a lot of these games, and well worth the massive, massive lead we had at the top of the table. Great way to bounce back after the playoff final defeat last year, and of course the expectation this year was to reach the playoffs. We smashed it. We absolutely smashed it. We looked great. Unfortunately, cup competition-wise, didn't really get going, but at the same time, I feel like the league was always the priority. Looking at moments to remember, you can see the biggest win was in the EFL Trophy against Morecambe. Match to remember was against Southend, where we won 4-0. Marky Cooper scored in that one. That's definitely why it's the game to remember. And Green's free kick against Southend won goal of the season. That was a good little free kick. I'm surprised it's got goal of the season, but I won't argue with it. In terms of club reputation, it's on the up. We've got national reputation now, of course, marauding on into League One now. Only a couple of promotions away from the big time, dare I say it. Financially, on the whole, things were on the up, although without a cup run, broadcast revenue was slightly down. Sold plenty of shirts. Sims, Cottrell, Green, Fitzpatrick and Richards, the most popular of the names. Unfortunately, sales outside of the UK, non-domestic sales, making up about 10% of what we did. I'm trying to think what nations would have been buying the shirts. I'm not even sure. Maybe it was all, I don't know, answers on a postcard. Anyway, looking at how we lined up this year, we rotated the team a fair amount this year, but key players played a major role in how the season turned out. Of course, we stuck with the 4-2-3-1. That was a big change for this year, really. I don't see any reason to change the system. I think we excelled playing like this. Players really slotted in well. Great to see Quansah have such a great season as well, because last season he didn't hit the ground running. Of course, he only had half a year at the club. Didn't shine. Maybe some questions as to whether or not he was good enough for League 2 level. I think he's more than answered any of those critics. He's looked absolutely great this year. Looking at the accolades, you can see here we were Manager of the Month on 3 occasions, slowly but surely building up a little trophy cabinet at home. Fans Player of the Season was Fitzpatrick, Young Player of the Season was Fitzpatrick, Signing of the Season was Fitzpatrick. It was the Aiden Fitzpatrick show, everyone. 15 Player of the Matches as well, not a bad little return. Coming 22 clean sheets in goal. If he was getting 22 assists in goal, I would have some questions to ask. But no, a very, very good season. We exceeded expectation, set a record points total for the club as well. And I'm feeling pretty good going into League One now. You can see here, looking at the charts, apparently we've been quite impenetrable. And then we've kind of been a little bit wasteful, but aggressive. Apparently, expected points position is first. Expected points is 96.7. Actual points was 100. I don't know what that means. We exceeded our expected points, I suppose. In terms of expectations for next year, fight bravely against relegation. I am just going to accept that. I think that we can push for the playoffs next year. I think we've got a really, really good team. I'm going to tell the players as well, similar to the board, avoid a relegation battle. You're not going to get very fast given the squad's complete on a level we're not remotely close to. Let's just avoid the drop. I mean, I feel like players need to have a bit more self-belief. We'll make promises after Christmas. Mark Cooper, you are always complaining. No more promises today, Mark. Go and enjoy your summer holiday and stop crying. But no, all in all, a good year. A year that I think sets us up now for longer-term success. The fact that we missed out on promotion last year is almost a blessing because it's given us this extra year to really take the club up a level. Cabango, Hughes coming, Fitzpatrick, and of course Anthony. I feel like I've not talked about Anthony nearly enough, but we've never really used him. Never really relied on him. He's been an okay super sub, I suppose. Not sure we'll be extending his loan, to be honest. The Arsenal manager, I can't remember their name, been complaining to me about the fact I'm not playing him enough. I'm sorry, Samak. Please don't come for me. I just don't think he's good enough for our level. Worth noting here, Nketiah is going to Real Betis on a free transfer. He's been on loan at Norwich this year. That's mad that they've got him on a freebie. Oh, I mean, Arsenal being a joke. What's new? I mean, look at that team. They're playing Kieran Tierney and Godfrey at centre-back. Anyway, this isn't the Arsenal end-of-season recap, Jack. You don't need to look at that stuff. But, no, I feel like when you look at the team on the whole, obviously, defensively, I think we're fine. I'm pretty happy. Even, Joel Lopez, 3-star player. 3-star for us, is a leading League 2 player. But he's got the potential to be a League 1 leading left-back. And I think he's already there, to be honest. I feel like you always have to take a little bit with a grain of salt what your staff are saying. In terms of the squad for next year, I think you could look at it and say, maybe a new deep line playmaker. Maybe you move Green into deep line playmaker. Maybe you make him, a more defensive asset. He can play centre mid. He's very good there. He's got the passing range for it. Maybe you look to get in a new attacking mid. But I don't think maybe I'm crazy. I'm going to sign the players that come available. I say now, I don't want to make too many transfer decisions and sign a whole load of players. If we find ourselves in a situation where there's 3 or 4 championship players who become available, they're on our radar, players that are realistic signings, of course I'm going to go get them. I feel like at this level, there's so much room to improve above what you have that if an obvious upgrade comes your way, you just kind of have to take it. We did a little bit of that this year, but this team now does very much feel like my squad. This feels like my team. You know, we got through the first 6 months. In fact, when you look at this team here, I'm looking at it now. Is Quansah and Cumming, are they the only two players who started for us last season? You know, when I first took over and, you know, had the January transfer window, I think they might be. I talked about Carter before. Carter's very, very good. Not maybe quite as good defensively as you'd like, but for this level, he's great. I mean, if we look at him, what are we saying about him? Good player for League 2 sides. Rubbish. I'm just shouting rubbish. Like, he's played at League 1 level. He's played at Championship level. He's proven himself. He's been promoted with Hull City before. I feel like that experience could be pretty vital for us this year. You can see statistically, average ratings are a bit funny this year, so I don't like to dwell on them too much. But in terms of number of assists, so many players chipping in, and goal scoring wise, I do feel a bit bad for Josh Thomas. But ultimately, Ellis Sims just became my favourite. I can't help it. He's just a really good pressing forward with immense physicals, but also great determination and some nice standout mentals and technicals to go with it. And I don't know, with room to improve, the 24-year-old seems like an obvious player to, you know, expect big things from going into next year. But yeah, I would like to get in another striker, I think, just to help Sims out. I say that, obviously we had Josh Thomas to do that, and I didn't really give him the chances to. I have got some reservations as to whether or not Sims will be able to take that next step up to League 1 level. What I do know for certain is he's a player who did great this year, and he has the potential to play at League 1 level. And I think that extends to a lot of the team. You know, it's not the youngest squad in the world. It's lots of players in there kind of early to maybe mid-20s if you want to be a bit, you know, harsh on them. Quite a few 24-year-olds in here. But ultimately, it's players with a little bit of scope to improve. And whilst, you know, they're not super young players who have got loads of room to, time rather to improve. They are players who are already at a point where I need them to be playing. I think that game time that we've been exposing them to, which in many cases they've not had before this season, Hughes at United, Lopez at Arsenal, even Fitzpatrick at Birmingham City, Ellis Sims, Everton. These are all players who have potential, haven't been able to fulfill it because they've not been given first team opportunities. That is something that we've definitely done this year. But no, when you look across the team, I think a new centre mid is in order. I think you could maybe look at a replacement for Quansah, just maybe an upgrade at centre back. I say all of that. He's got a 7.22 rating this year, but you know, it's a case of how many more seasons can he really step up? Because this is a player who was, you know, signed for us way back at Boston for the National North level. We're now, 3 or 4 levels above that? There's question marks there. At the very least, he will be the, you know, immediate backup centre-back. I'm confident of that. I think he's earned that kind of opportunity in itself. But anyway, I could rant on and on about our team, but to be honest, I much like last year, I'm pretty content with the team. I said this last year and I signed a load of players. I don't want to do it again. I probably will end up doing it again. Look, where would you strengthen? Let me know in the comments. In terms of the other leagues going on, we're going to take a closer eye on things above us, I think, at this point. It's more important to look at where we could be going. So looking at League 1 here, they've actually got 1 game left of the season, but the teams relegated have been decided. Coventry look likely to get promoted, although Grimsby could be the team to leave League 1. If we just look at Grimsby Town here, you can see they were promoted a few years ago. They've then been a team constantly competing in the playoffs, which is very much where I would like us to be. Meanwhile, Birmingham down in 7th. That's kind of a shock. They're not a team I would, you know, put being outside of the playoff spots, although they have still got maybe a slim chance of catching Charlton. Sheffield Wednesday still stuck in League 1 is a bit of a shock. Bristol Rovers, I don't know, are Bristol Rovers winning the League 1? Is that a shock? I'm not entirely sure. Preston in 12th. Little unusual, and Sunderland still struggling away. Anyway, if we look at the Championship here, Hull City, Burton and Barnsley, the teams relegated. Leeds and Crystal Palace promoted back to the Premier League. The playoffs is going to be contested between West Brom, Bournemouth, Derby County and Huddersfield Town. And meanwhile, in the Premier League, how are things going? Well, it looks like our affiliates Nottingham Forest are going to avoid the drop. So round of applause for Nottingham Forest for surviving. I don't want to say it too prematurely, but it seems rather likely at this moment in time, even if they have lost 4 on the bounce. Elsewhere, the usual status quo remains at the top of the table. All the kind of typical teams doing very, very well. Leicester maybe struggling a little more than you would expect. Going down, it's going to be Fulham, Brighton and West Ham. surprised West Ham are going down, although I think they've been a bit of a yo-yo team in this save game. Yeah, you can see they were relegated a couple of years ago, won the Championship last year under Graham Potter. Unfortunately, looks like they are going to be going down, as well as Brighton, who have actually finished as high as 6th last year. So massive, massive shock to see them struggling so much. And Fulham, whilst not mathematically down yet, look like they're going to continue their trend of yo-yoing. Oh my word. That is a lot of yo-yoing, isn't it, going on there? They're up and down, up and down. Looks like it's going to be a 3rd relegation in 8 seasons for them, which is kind of mad. But maybe they'll come back stronger next time. If we just have a look once more at our team overview, just a final look at things, really. In terms of the finances for next year, we've got £1.4 million transfer budget. The wage budget has a little bit of wiggle room as well, although much of that will probably go on promotional wage rises. One huge kind of bit of news off the back of the promotion is the fact that Ben Cabango, who does have a 10% promotional wage rise, also has a contract extension after promotion of 3 years. So what this means is our best player, debatably the player who I think is, the standout man in our squad, is going to be here till 2030 or until a team pays us a load of money. But realistically, I've sent him on a leadership course. He's not benefited from it, but I do see him as kind of that long-term centre-back option that we can truly build around. Very, very excited to see what he can do, as well as what the rest of the team can do going into this year. I think a lot of pressure perhaps on Aiden Fitzpatrick. Had such a standout year last year, to be released by Birmingham City, and now to know that, well, next season he's going to be more than likely playing against Birmingham City in League One. It's going to be interesting to see exactly how he fares. But no, that's going to wrap up everything from me today. If there's anything that I don't cover with these end-of-season roundups that you would like to see me cover or talk about in a little more detail, please do let me know it. I know not everyone watches to the end of these videos. They can get a bit rambling, a bit talky at the end. But for those of you who have got to the end point, I really do value your input. So if there is anything that you would like to see, please let me know. I know someone's going to ask, Jack, where is Sam York? Let's do a little bit of Sam York watch, everyone. He's not really improved. Considering they spent 11 million on him, he's played 39 games in the Championship this year and got 4 goals, but he's not that great. I've said it. He's okay. He's okay. Right, there you go. There's your Sam York update. We'll be back again next season. Just a little heads up as well. There may not be an upload up tomorrow. Just depends on how long it takes me to get through pre-season. But regardless, whenever episode 15 drops, I hope to see you then. League One, we're on our way. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.